The top 1% of Americans own more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. That statistic gets repeated constantly. What almost never gets discussed is the part that actually matters. The specific rules the people building wealth follow that most people were simply never taught. Not lucky breaks, not inheritance, not extraordinary salaries. Rules, principles, mental frameworks that govern how they make decisions about money, consistently, quietly, over decades. A 2024 study of high net worth Americans found that the single biggest predictor of wealth accumulation was not income level. It was financial behavior. Specifically, 5 categories of behavior that showed up across almost every wealth-building household in the study, regardless of income, industry, or starting point. This video covers all 5, not as abstract advice, as specific actionable rules that you can apply to your next financial decision. We are going through each of the 5 rules wealthy Americans consistently follow, what the rule actually is, why most people do the opposite without realizing it, and exactly what it looks like in practice for someone building wealth from a normal income. This is wealth clarity. Let's get into it. The first rule sounds simple. It is almost universally ignored. Wealthy people, specifically people who built wealth from ordinary incomes rather than inheriting it, pay themselves first. Before rent, before groceries, before any discretionary spending. A fixed percentage of every paycheck moves into savings or investment accounts the moment it arrives. What remains after that is what they live on. Most people do the opposite. They spend what they need, enjoy what they want, and invest whatever happens to be left at the end of the month, which is almost always nothing. Because lifestyle expands to fill available income with remarkable consistency, a phenomenon called lifestyle inflation, and the money left over after living is perpetually smaller than the money that would have been saved if it had been moved first. The mechanics of paying yourself first are straightforward. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to a Roth IRA, a brokerage account, or a high-yield savings account, scheduled for the same day your paycheck arrives or the day after. Before any bills, before any subscriptions, before any decisions. The transfer happens first. Then you live on what remains. This is not about deprivation. It is about sequencing. The person who saves 15% of their income before spending and lives on 85% builds wealth. The person who spends 98% and saves what is left builds almost nothing. Not because they earn less, but because their system is structured in the wrong order. The practical action from Rule 1. This week, set up one automatic transfer, even $50, scheduled for the day after your next paycheck. That single action installs the most important wealth-building habit available to any American, regardless of income. The second rule reframes the metric most people use to measure financial success. Most Americans measure their financial health by their income, how much they earn per year, what their salary is, whether they got a raise. This is an understandable metric. It is also the wrong one. Wealthy people measure net worth. Net worth is simple: everything you own minus everything you owe. Assets minus liabilities. A positive and growing net worth means your financial position is improving. A high income with high debt and no assets means you are running a very expensive treadmill. Here is why this distinction matters practically. A person earning $150,000 a year with a $400,000 mortgage, $30,000 in car loans, $20,000 in credit card debt, and no investment accounts has a negative or near zero net worth. They feel wealthy. They look wealthy. They are not building wealth. A person earning $60,000 a year who owns their car outright, carries no consumer debt, and has been consistently investing 15% of their income for 10 years may have a net worth of $200,000 and growing. They do not feel wealthy by most conventional signals. They are building it. Wealthy people track their net worth monthly or quarterly. They know the number. They watch whether it is going up or down. They make decisions on debt, on purchases, on investment contributions based on whether those decisions improve or damage the number. The practical action from Rule 2: calculate your net worth today. Add up everything you own at current value. Subtract everything you owe. Write down that number. Then set a calendar reminder to recalculate it in 90 days. The act of measuring changes the behavior. The next rule is the one most people resist the hardest. It directly contradicts something that feels intuitive and responsible. Stay with it, because the math behind it is one of the most important things in this video. The third rule is the most counterintuitive of the 5, and the one that separates people who build real wealth from people who earn more and more while feeling increasingly behind. When most people get a raise, a promotion, or an income increase, they upgrade their lifestyle. Bigger apartment, better car, more frequent travel, nicer restaurants. This is called lifestyle inflation, the tendency for spending to rise automatically with income. It feels deserved. It feels like the point of earning more. But here is what lifestyle inflation actually does to wealth building. If your income increases by $2,000 a month and your spending increases by $1,800 a month, you have captured $200 of that raise for wealth building. The other $1,800 disappeared into a higher standard of living that now requires maintenance indefinitely. The wealthiest Americans, in study after study, including the Stanley and Danko research that produced The Millionaire Next Door, consistently live below their means even as their income grows significantly. Not because they deny themselves everything, because they make deliberate decisions about which lifestyle upgrades are worth the permanent financial cost and which are not. The rule is not to never upgrade your life. The rule is to build your savings rate before you build your lifestyle. If your income increases by 10%, increase your investment contributions by at least half of that increase before letting the rest flow into lifestyle. In practical terms, if your monthly income goes up by $1,000, automate $500 of it into investments immediately. Spend the other $500 however you want. This one rule, applied consistently through a career of income growth, is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in final wealth, not from earning more, but from keeping more of what you earn. The practical action from Rule 3. The next time your income increases, raise, side income, bonus, automate at least 50% of the increase into investments before spending any of it. Do it the same week, before the lifestyle adjusts. The fourth rule is about debt, and it requires making a distinction that most people never think to make. Wealthy people are not debt-free. Many of the highest net worth Americans carry significant debt, but they use it differently from how most people use it. There are two fundamentally different kinds of debt. The first is debt that is used to acquire an asset, something that produces income or appreciates in value. A mortgage on a rental property that generates cash flow above its costs. A business loan that funds operations producing profits. Low-interest investment borrowing used strategically. This kind of debt can build wealth when used correctly. The second kind is debt used to fund consumption, spending on things that are gone or depreciating the moment the purchase is made. Credit card balances at 22% interest for groceries, restaurants, clothing, electronics. Car loans on vehicles that lose value from the moment they leave the lot. Personal loans for vacations. This kind of debt is a wealth-destroying mechanism that requires income to maintain indefinitely while building nothing. Wealthy people carry the first kind of debt strategically and eliminate the second kind aggressively. They treat high-interest consumer debt as a financial emergency, because mathematically it is. At 22% interest, every dollar of credit card debt you carry costs you more than twice what the stock market historically earns. You cannot invest your way out of a 22% liability. The practical action from Rule 4. List every debt you currently carry with its interest rate. Any debt above 8% is consumer debt that should be eliminated before increasing investments, with the single exception of capturing your full employer 401k match first. Build a payoff plan starting with the highest rate debt. Each one you eliminate permanently frees that payment amount for wealth building. The fifth rule is the one that ties everything else together, and it is the most important shift in this entire video. Most people carry an unconscious definition of wealth that is visual. The large house, the luxury car, the designer wardrobe, the visible markers that signal financial success to other people. This definition drives financial behavior. It causes people to spend on the appearance of wealth rather than the substance of it. Wealthy people, specifically people who have built and maintained genuine long-term financial security, tend to define wealth differently. For them, wealth is freedom. The freedom to choose how to spend their time. The freedom to say no to work they dislike. The freedom to make decisions based on what they want rather than what they can afford. The freedom to absorb financial shocks without panic. This definition sounds philosophical. It has completely practical implications for financial behavior. A person building toward freedom allocates money differently than a person building toward display. They invest more and consume less. They choose assets over status symbols. They delay visible markers of success in exchange for invisible security that compounds. The single most clarifying question in personal finance is this. Every time you make a significant financial decision, ask whether this dollar is buying you freedom or buying you display. Freedom compounds. Display depreciates. Both feel real in the moment. Only one of them builds toward the life most people actually want when they are honest about it. The practical action from Rule 5. Look at your 3 largest discretionary expenses this month. For each one, ask honestly, is this buying me freedom or display? Not to feel guilty, to see clearly. The answer changes what you decide next time. Here are the 5 rules. Rule 1. Pay yourself first. Move money into savings and investment before you spend anything else. Sequence is everything. Rule 2. Measure net worth, not income. A growing net worth is the actual metric of financial progress. Calculate yours today. Rule 3. Resist lifestyle inflation. Every time your income rises, automate at least half the increase into investments before your lifestyle adjusts. Rule 4. Use debt as a tool, not a lifestyle. Eliminate high-interest consumer debt aggressively. Carry only debt that builds assets. Rule 5. Define wealth as freedom. Every dollar is either buying you freedom or buying you display. Only one of them compounds. None of these rules require a high income, a financial advisor, or a lucky break. They require a different way of thinking about money, applied consistently across every paycheck for long enough to compound. The gap between the average American's financial outcome and a wealthy American's financial outcome is not usually income. It is these 5 rules, applied or ignored, over the course of a working lifetime. If this shifted how you think about your next financial decision, subscribe to Wealth Clarity. New videos every Wednesday and Saturday. YouTube is going to show you the perfect next video right now. I will see you there.